Hello there. Welcome to another episode of SUNTZU Podcast. Joining me today are Gunslinger,
Hello.
Comrade Axel,
Woof.
Rainfire,
Sup, y'all?
and George.
Hello.
By the way, fun fact, I just realized that I'm the only one here who isn't a native English speaker. Is going to be interesting. Speaking of interesting, everyone here played LoL Arena quite extensively during its first NetEase test, as well as previous Arena iterations, and has some strong opinions on various aspects of said test that we would like to discuss today. Let's start with the biggest changes everyone's seen, the changes that influence the game the most and are impossible to miss. George, let's start with you. What was the single biggest change compared to when we last played the wargaming version of Arena?
I think it was the victory conditions, to be honest. I mean, obviously we have the old method of victory conditions, which were the standard base capture that's found in other wargaming games, and the annihilation victory of just eliminating all other enemy units. But obviously with this new NetEase release, annihilation victory is now completely out of the question. And so that's been replaced by a point victory system. And I think that it's very, very important to look at the victory condition changes, because it's changed the focus of the game from unit kills to objective gains. And that's an important shift, because that was previously the main focus of the game, to eliminate the enemy units so then that you can get the upper hand and either capture the base or hunt down the last few remaining enemies. But now we have this point victory and this base capture. It does completely change the way the game works. As I said, people do focus a lot more on the objectives, and unfortunately, in my opinion, that does cause quite a lot of blobbing compared to what we usually saw in the wargaming release, definitely. But I think that when people focus on these objectives rather than the unit kills, it does shift where things happen on the map, certainly. A lot of areas are now not played as much as they used to. On Thermopylae, for example, not many people go right over the top of the hill, simply because there's not a lot to gain up there.
So I really like the point that you made about shifting the objective of the game towards, well, getting objectives rather than just straight up kill everyone, because that was like the best idea to have. And that introduces the ideas of sacrifices. I can sacrifice myself here to gain that point and lock it down, get an advantage for my team going, and to get more points. And it's not just straightforward killing good, dying yourself bad. I mean, it wasn't that straightforward back in the day either, but it does introduce a lot of interesting mechanics. And from what I've noticed myself, is that the new UI design that show you all the base captures and the capture points in between leaves a little bit to be desired, to be honest. It's quite difficult to see that a base is being captured, and it's even harder to follow the process or progress towards capture of that base. And the rules of capture are also unclear at first, and you need to figure out themselves basically throughout many battles, see how they work and just work it out yourself through observation.